Hello and welcome to Void Arcade, a gaming podcast where me, Brando, and a couple of guys, a couple of dudes, talk about some games. Anyway, this week we're going to be doing Half-Life Alyx, which is going to be a good one. I've been waiting to talk about this game for a long time. I got two new guests. Dan, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. And we got Jackson, welcome.
Hey, good to be here.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me on.
I am not thankful yet to be on, but I'll let you know if I am.
We'll try to make this a good experience for you then, I guess.
Okay. Sounds good.
Oh, man. No, but Dan, I have you to thank for being kind of the reason that I decided to throw this together when you reached out to me about beating the game.
Well, I mean, what can I say? I beat this game and I just had to talk to someone about it. And you seem like the nearest outlet because you had played it too.
Indeed. I think, Dan, you talked to me on like Tuesday, and it was the Monday right before where we were talking about games we had played, and he was like, that was a sick game.
Yeah.
I knew I had to throw this one together because
Yeah.
I hadn't really talked to anyone about it except for like, I don't know, VR is kind of weird like that. Like, I don't know. At least in my circles, I have nobody that plays VR games except for you guys.
Yeah, I was really excited to talk about this too, actually, because I've been gushing to some of my friends about Half-Life Alyx for a while, and none of them have played it. So excited to be able to talk about it a little bit with you guys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, I don't own a VR headset. I actually borrowed my sister's headset. Still here. I told her it might be a week or two or whatever. Anyway, no, but I mean, the barrier to entry for this kind of game is very high because you have to buy a $400 accessory, and luckily she got hers for free. So I mean, I'm getting it for free or borrowing it for free.
There you go.
Yeah. So yes, no one's played this, but yeah, luckily I'm just fortunate to know someone who can give me a VR headset.
Indeed. So even before we get into the games, what's everyone's history with Half-Life? I will go first. The first time I played Half-Life, I actually played through Black Mesa when it was in alpha, and I played up through all the available stuff in Black Mesa, which is the Source Engine port. And then it took me a couple years to play through Half-Life, the original, and then I played 2 and all the episodes. But I haven't played like Opposing Force or Blue Shift or whatever. I didn't play them when they came out, but I did see them when they came out, and the gravity gun and stuff just like wowed me, like all the new physics stuff, which was super cool. It was kind of fun to experience this one relatively around the time when it came out. And I'm not a super big lore junkie either. I'm kind of a casual enjoyer of the Half-Life games. Where do y'all stand?
For me, I'd seen Half-Life around, seen the first and the second one on YouTube a little bit. I actually have never played them still to this day. I watched a lore video for Half-Life Alyx when it was coming out because I had just bought the HTC Vive that Valve came out with, and then they were releasing Half-Life Alyx. So I was really excited to try out, a nice AAA quality game in VR. I hadn't played the other two at all up until that point, or really seen much about them. I looked up a lore video and then jumped right into Half-Life Alyx, my first entry into the series.
Quite brave of you.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm glad I did. It was a very enjoyable experience to play through it.
That gives you a unique perspective, I think.
Yeah, I hope so.
That's cool. That's cool. What about you, Dan?
Well, I mean, if I may, my history with Half-Life is very complex, very complicated. We first got the orange box, came out in 2007, had Team Fortress, Portal, and the Half-Life 2 Episode 1, Half-Life 2 Episode 2. So, yes. I think the first time I ever played that was I played, like, Half-Life 2. I probably played, probably the first, fifth of it or something on the Xbox 360. And then didn't play it for a while, didn't really have any idea what it's even about. Later on, my brother got this game on his Steam account, Half-Life 2 Episode 2, and I was like, well, I'd like to play that on the computer. So I played through that, and I was like, wow, that's really something. Then I still didn't touch the orange box for a while, you know? Didn't go back to the 360. But then I got Half-Life for like $2 on Steam on my own account, you know, years later.
Yeah.
By years later, I mean like 2021 probably. And yeah, played Half-Life 1. I had seen like the intro on YouTube to Half-Life 1, the In Gordon's Mind series, I think it's
that's
called.
a good channel.
Yeah, I saw, you know, a couple of those anyway. So yeah, played through it. I really like the 90s aesthetic. But yeah, then I knew I had to complete it, so I played Half-Life 2, then Episode 1. That's kind of my roundabout way to getting where I am today.
Nice.
So do you guys think that the first two games, they hold up? Or like, should I go back and try to enjoy them so that I can get a deeper experience of Half-Life Alyx? Or would it be hard to go back to graphics around those days, you think?
Okay, well, I would say this. For one, I don't know what kind of magic they're doing at Valve, but when they put it on Steam, it just runs like very well, even for being like a 1998 video game, whatever it is. You know, the load times are instantaneous. There's no bugs. I think the unique thing about Half-Life Alyx is that it kind of is in between that bridge of Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2, because it chronologically is like 5 years before Half-Life 2, but
right,
you'll appreciate, at least if you've played the other two, what's in Half-Life Alyx. It's a little bit of both games. But yeah.
Yeah. And I think even adding to that, and the reason that I kind of brought up your guys' history is because I feel like behind the scenes, a large part of this game is the history of the games. Because we have this, what is like a 13-year gap from the last Half-Life game from 2007 to 2020. So the history is super rich. I actually read through Geoff Keighley's Final Hours of Half-Life Alyx, which talks about that 17-year period of no Half-Life games. So I might interject and include some facts from there. But the old games, I think, were technological marvels. And I think Alyx is very much a continuation of like a technological marvel, a narrative marvel, an entertainment marvel.
I 100% agree with that statement.
Alyx has developers from people that made the original Half-Life and Half-Life 2. We're talking like these legacy, like old blood people. Even the writers that co-wrote and wrote Portal 2 and Half-Life 2, wrote the story. You got the composer, Mike Moraski, that worked for soundtracks on Team Fortress and Left 4 Dead. All the Valve games feel like Valve games, I think, because the same people have worked on them for years, which is a really long way to answer your question. And maybe I have my own agenda of just saying all that stuff too. Don't look at the show notes. But I do think that if you played them, you'd probably be amazed.
Mm-hmm.
At least because of like the technological limitations at the time. And I think they do hold up really well.
Gotcha.
Especially fan favorites like the Ravenholm section and Escaping Black Mesa, just the whole thing. It's good times.
Where you're on the cliff?
Yeah, that's literally what came to my brain when I said that, was the cliff.
I think about that and I'm like, that's as much of a difficulty curve as any modern game these days, is trying to stay on a hairline of a cliff and
Indeed.
shoot people. Anyway.
Super fun.
Yeah, like I've watched a bunch of YouTube before I went to play Half-Life Alyx. I watched a bunch of lore and some gameplay stuff of the other Half-Life so that I could have some context coming into Alyx. So I know a decent chunk of the lore and that kind of stuff, but you know, I haven't played the first two that come out before it, so
Should definitely try it. I mean, wait for a Steam sale and get them for like $3.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, I'll have to do that.
Super worth. That's a good question, though. I think that's good to answer. Shifting gears a little bit, I always like to bring up awards when I do these episodes on games that are older. So the awards that Half-Life Alyx won, it did win Game of the Year at the 2020 VR Awards, and at the 2020 Game Awards was able to secure the win for Best VR AR Game. which was well deserved, I think. Honestly, I'm glad it won best VR game.
Absolutely, yeah. I my experience throughout the whole game was just awestruck throughout the whole thing. The technological, like you said earlier, the technological marvels of it all was incredible. I mean, when you first start loading in and you get the Russells, the gravity gloves, watching his player model move and talk to you, and all the animations behind it, it was incredible. I was like, holy crap, this is incredible work.
Oh my gosh. The first time I ran into Russell, like he makes eye contact with you, and like it immediately activated my real life social anxiety. Like how he's just talking to me, or like in games when you can move around when there's a little cutscene like that, and you like mess around with objects in the world. Like I was messing around with like stuff on his desk, and he was like looking at me while he was talking, and like a split second in my mind, I was like, he's gonna get angry with me for not paying attention. Because that's like how realistic it is. It was just like, it was tricking me.
Yeah, the facial animations and the eye contact, it's real. Like you can almost kind of get the uncanny valley a little bit, but it's so good that it's incredible.
Indeed.
There were multiple times playing that game where I was like, okay, I can't hit this virtual wall with my hand or else it's gonna hurt, but I can totally hit my real life hand to this wall and I'll be fine,
Yeah.
As happens because you only have like a limited play space where you are, but it's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
More real than real life,
Yeah.
Yeah, the graphics in that game are just incredible.
I don't know how they did that.
This game I know runs off Source 2. I think Half-Life 1's off Source, but maybe Half-Life 2 also, but...
Yeah, they're both off Source.
Yeah, this was a revamped engine, and I was, like, amazed. Well, I mean, for one, like, I have a 2880 Ti in my computer. I don't know if that's a brag or not, but anyway, no, I was just surprised at how, like, optimized it ran for, providing two, 1400 pixels by whatever per eye. And then it also had like different shaders for both eyes. You'd look at an object and you could tell your left eye was seeing a glint from this angle and the other one from that angle. Mind blown.
Truly.
But yeah, I don't know. There was an attention to detail in that game and with that engine that just there's no other game like it. And I don't know. What are they going to use the Source 2 for next? That's what I wonder.
Truly. And I'll tell you what I learned from Final Hours, and it's that the Source 2 engine has been in development for a long time. They actually, when they were making Half-Life 3 at the end of the Half-Life 2 development cycle, they eventually came to a point where they decided that the Source engine wouldn't be good enough for a sequel. It wouldn't do it justice. And that's when they started making Source 2. And from then out, from 2007, all the way up until pretty much when Half-Life Alyx released, Source 2 has been like the bane of Valve's existence. Because you would get these teams that were really excited about how the engine worked, which I guess the major difference is in the Source engine, you have like polygons, really rigid body shapes like cubes and, hexagons and whatever that have to interact in a very particular way. And I guess in the Source engine, it acts more like a polygon soup is the exact wording they used, where instead of these shapes, you can have artists go in with paintbrushes, more or less, and paint environments, and the engine will kind of decide the polygons to use for it, if I understand that correctly. But the development of that was super, super wonky, and it killed like 4 or 5 projects at Valve. They just that will never see the light of day.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, Valve makes good games.
They do. They make some bangers.
Yeah, I'm just glad they finished that freaking Source engine. We'll probably finally get another game. That was kind of a long tangent from me. My apologies.
It's all good.
Before we move into talking about the game story and more elements about it, what are y'all's opinions? Just right. I guess we kind of have been saying our opinions just off the cuff about how we think the game is really good. So I guess a more interesting question, because I think we would all agree that we would recommend it to people. Who would you not recommend this game to? That's kind of a weirder question.
Easy. Those who get motion sickness.
That was going to be my answer as well.
There you go.
Well, at least at first. I mean, there's two ways to play the game. There's, blink, which is like where you're teleporting. You just click where your person's supposed to be. And then the other one is continuous, where it's almost like you have an analog stick, like a real-life video game, and you're going through it. The second one can make you more queasy, but maybe it's just my brain adjustment, but I kind of got used to it. Didn't feel sick anymore. But,
That was my experience as well. I got used to the movement into most VR games pretty quick, but I actually small side tangent, but still relates to the question. I got my sister to play some of Half-Life, and she's not a very big gamer, but she has bad motion sickness. She gets it pretty easily in a lot of stuff. So I had her do the blink, and she was able to get around on blink a little bit. She didn't get too far into it, and she started to feel a little bit queasy, and took off the headset not too far into the game. So it's too bad, but yeah, that's probably the demographic I would say probably shouldn't be playing it too much, unless if you can get around on blink and make it work and get used to it. You can definitely get through the motion sickness hurdle that way.
But I've got another one.
Okay.
My answer is also those who don't want to put in hard work. Now, I don't mean the hard work of playing a video game. I literally mean like this game, you're expected to, well, I mean, I guess you could sit while you're playing it, but you're expected to stand and duck and reach over here and over there, like with their hands, and pick stuff off the ground, at least for a little bit, and cock the gun and reload it with bullets. It's a lot of work.
It is.
It's not as relaxing as, getting home from work and being like, oh boy, I can just put a controller in my hand,
Get home from work, I'm going to go and play the Geoff level. That sounds relaxing.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I like to do some outdoor stuff, so I would go skiing and my back would hurt, but I'd still play the game. And I don't know how many, years it's taken off my life, but I'm okay.
Worth.
Am I the only one who, when you're getting out of the headset at the end of a long session and your back just hurts after playing some Half-Life Alyx?
Oh.
You're kind of achy almost?
I got that. I get that.
That's from just carrying the weight of, saving the world on my back.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
It all makes sense now.
It all makes sense. Yep. Motion sickness is big.
So who would you not recommend it to?
Yeah, I think the motion sick is probably the biggest one, but if that wasn't an issue for anybody, I think Dan actually hit it on the head. I think there's going to be a subset of people that, and even today when I booted it up to play some of it, I was sitting there at some of the puzzles, and they don't hold your hand at all. It's like if you miss the little red lever, it's over for you. If you're not going to use your brain to think about some of the puzzles or really look at the environment, you're going to have a tough time. So you have to go in, I think, with the mindset that yeah, you're going to have to think. And I appreciate that they made a game like that, I guess. They know you can think about it. They've play tested it enough to where they know players will eventually get there. But some people might not like that.
No, I agree. I never got stuck for days, but there were some hard puzzles in this where I was like, wait, I'm supposed to open up this electrical box and then stick my hand all the way up behind it and do this thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I actually really appreciated that they didn't hold your hand. I feel like some games now, not to harp on every game that comes out nowadays, back in my day when games were good. But
back in my day.
But I do feel like a lot of games now kind of make it too easy. there's no payoff on some of the puzzles because it's like, oh man, took me all of 3 seconds to figure that out. And Half-Life, it does a good job of not being so over the top hard in all the puzzles that you're sitting there thinking about every puzzle that you come across for days, you know.
Exactly.
But it also it's not easy, you know. You have to actually apply some brain power to a lot of the puzzles, which I found fun for the most part.
Yeah, I'm super glad they did that. I feel like a lot of games, like you said, these days, they kind of do cater to that simpler style, waypoints and hints and whatever. And I think the reason that it works this way in Half-Life is they probably just have play tested the crap out of it to know exactly what happens, like how long a player will stick around before they think they're stuck. And I don't know. Actually, one of the phrases on Valve's website is they believe that game developers are all part psychologists to a degree.
I could see that, yeah.
So, good stuff.
Dan, would you want to try to do the summarizing here? Because it's been a minute for me, and like I said, I didn't play the first one or the second one.
Okay, I'll try my best. I mean, I did beat Half-Life Alyx like last week and all. But anyway.
Nice. Okay, that recent. So you're fresh off the dome.
Fresh in the mind, that's correct. So yeah, for those listeners out there who haven't played any Half-Life games, I just want to give you some context for Half-Life Alyx. Like I said before, Half-Life 2, that's 20 years after the first game or something, or 15, I don't really remember when. But anyway, Half-Life Alyx is 5 years before Half-Life 2. And what happens in Half-Life 1, the whole premise of that game, or so to say, is you work at a physics facility, a science facility. I mean, they're pretty high end. What you're doing is you're a physicist, and one day you go into work and it's a really, really bad day at work. You try to put this big gem thing, and I totally don't remember what it is because it's a couple years ago when I beat it. But anyway, you put it in there and you accidentally open up a portal to an alternate dimension, you know, with those aliens from the alternate dimension sort of thing going on. And they take over the whole facility. You go throughout the entire game and you beat the bad guy who's behind it all, invading Earth. That is the ending of it, but apparently that's not all, because at the beginning of Half-Life 2, it's not really explained, but you just have this other species of alien from an alternate dimension, and they have taken over the Earth, and they're called the Combine. And yeah, you have some people left over from Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2, like the Vertigons. They're these big green alien psychic men things.
Right, okay.
And yeah.
So the Combine, were they I was under the impression in Half-Life Alyx that they were just aliens, just regular aliens, and that the head crabs and stuff were from the other dimension. Were the Combine also from the same dimension that the head crabs were in?
Good question. I need to look up the Half-Life 1 boss guy, whatever his name is. You have the Nihilanth, however you say his name, and he's the one who sees this portal that's open, and he pushes his people to Earth. And yes, that does include the Vortigons and the head crabs and a whole bunch of these other species. But yes, according to this wiki, the Combine just saw that weakness, that portal open, and they kind of pushed into it.
Okay, gotcha. So they're kind of aliens, kind of other dimension ones, just like the head crabs, kind of.
Yeah, but I don't think they're from space. They are just these alternate dimension aliens.
Gotcha.
It's really not explained. You just wake up on a train in Half-Life 2. Or
Gotcha.
I guess you teleported to it, but anyway.
Okay.
Without really spoiling anything, I mean, at least you do know that at the end of the day, you win, right? So, you know.
Yeah. Morgan Freeman and your crowbar.
Hey, I couldn't beat the game without it. You know.
Yeah, of course. The trusty old crowbar gets the job done.
Now, where does Half-Life Alyx, being 5 years before this game, really fit in place? I don't know. I don't know why it's 5 years and why it's not 5 years after Half-Life 1. I don't know. Why this specific point in time, I wonder.
Beats me.
Beats me too.
Would you want to start talking about Chapter 1? Story Part 1? Jump into that?
Sure. So, for those of you who haven't played Half-Life Alyx, what happens is, I believe the opening sequence, you start on the balcony and you're looking at this thing called the Citadel. It's under construction. The Citadel's in Half-Life 2. It is where the Combine live. It's their capital, their HQ. And you see it being under construction, and then you go and talk to your dad, and he's like, oh, come on down. Anyway, he gets kidnapped. Not kidnapped. I guess just captured by the Combine. And they take him away, and they also take you away. You're in this, like, prisoner transport. And this guy named Russell, he hacks one of their drones and somehow stops the van, and you get out, you escape, and you find Russell himself, and he's like, go find your dad and free him. So you go on an adventure to do that.
Can I interject a little bit in that first little bit of when you're waking up on the balcony, going to go talk to the radio, you see a strider walking by, just climbing up one of the buildings. And these striders are these 3-legged vehicles that the Combine ride on. And my breath was stolen away from me when I first saw that strider coming across. That spectacle view was absolutely incredible.
That was the first time I was like, I mean, everything looks really impressive, and then that strider goes by, and I was like, I knew I was in for something.
Yeah, same here. As soon as that guy like popped his little feet up there on the balcony with you, you're like, oh holy shit, this is gonna be a ride I'm about to take.
Indeed.
Should we take a little second to talk about the gravity gloves that when you get them from Russell? Because I could talk about the Russells for probably the entire podcast. in my eyes, the reason why... Okay, awesome. Sorry. Maybe a little bit of a tangent, but
no.
I am a little bit passionate about this aspect of Half-Life Alyx. So the gravity gloves are the Russells. If you haven't played Half-Life Alyx, they do exactly what they say. Gravity gloves. You kind of aim at objects around the environment, pull the trigger, flick, and it flies into your hand. And it is the most satisfying thing of all time to just look over there and target onto something and do this little swish and flick, and it flies into your hand. And it's got this satisfying little sound effect that it plays. And it's, in my opinion, it's one of the reasons why the game works in VR so well, so that you don't have to try to climb on every surface and try to like kind of weasel around and pick up everything to look under it and stuff like that. You can do that, of course, but the gravity gloves makes looting and doing all that just 10 times more fun, in my opinion.
Yep, absolutely agree. And I think adding on to that, so my last episode was on Spider-Man Remaster, and something that my friend Zach and I agreed on was the traversal in that game worked because they knew they had to get that right, because that was what the player would be doing 90% of the time, is swinging from place to place in New York. In a similar vein, I think Valve knew going from place to place and picking up stuff in Alyx was critical to make sure that aspect of the game was fun. And I think they completely nailed it with the gravity gloves. That loop of just even picking up random stuff. I'd find myself just walking and just like picking up cans or picking up boxes, stuff that's not even important. You just flick and see if you can catch it. Because there really is, like in the beginning when I first got the gloves, it was like I missed a bunch of objects a lot. I'd whiff a lot of the tosses to myself. But once you get it down, whew.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Super good. They nailed it.
Yeah, I agree 100% with they knew for a fact that walking around and loot and stuff had to be a good time, like you said, where they really nailed that aspect. Some of the most fun of the game is really just walking around, and it's a super fun game all throughout. But sometimes just flicking the gravity gloves, trying to flip a water bottle in there. Did that for a little while, tried to land a water bottle flip with the gravity gloves.
Yeah.
Doing stuff like that. Oh man, it's a good time.
I agree. That's a huge part why the game is good. Not even, no doubt about it.
It is definitely one of the reasons, well, one of those things that you're like, I play video games to escape reality, because you cannot do that in real life. But I did try to do it in real life after I played, I would flick my cereal bowl towards myself, but it didn't work.
Yeah. Can I say something really dumb?
Absolutely. Please.
You have my permission.
Sometimes in my life, I will become obsessed with something, and VR was one of them. It was specifically when I saw the trailer for Alyx come out. I was like obsessed, so much to the point where, like, I had seen the trailer enough times and I'd watched enough like gameplay of people playing through it that I literally, like, I had dreams. Even before I played the games, I was dreaming that I had the gravity gloves and I was playing the game. That was
great.
like the only thing I wanted in life, like back in late 2020, was to be able to play this game and to use the gravity gloves. And that is my stupid fact about this. It did live up to the hype that I made it have, I feel like. So that was good. Moving topics, I guess. So in the Final Hours article, it said that the original story was going to be way darker. Like, think DC, Snyder DC versus like a quippy Marvel movie. They were going for the DC Snyder, like seeing Vortigaunt slaves being hauled around in the streets. There was going to be a lot more pain and suffering seen. But I'm glad that they went with a lighter tone like the original Half-Life games had, and I'm glad that, like, Russell wasn't even supposed to be like funny until they scrapped that whole narrative, because everyone in the company that play tested it was like, this ain't it, Chief. So they brought in the original writers and they actually wrote in Russell. And they didn't even have Alyx communicating like over the radio until the last like 6 months of development, where he just pops in and like says little lines and stuff. I appreciated his character a lot. It makes you not feel like alone.
Yeah, honestly, Russell was one of my favorite characters because the humor that is written into that like really brings me back to like that kind of Portal humor that I love with like Wheatley and that kind of stuff. It kind of reminded me of that character to an extent. And man, the quips and like even the beginning when he throws the gun from the balcony for you to try to catch it. He says, "Don't worry, it's not loaded," and then it lands and a round fires off. He's like, "Oh, it's not loaded now." That I remember hearing that the first time. Like, oh yes, this is. I like this character. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that he got introduced as. That would be a completely different feel to the game if he was not there.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, well, for one, Alyx, the main character that you play as, she speaks too, and I thought that their banter during the scarier times, it's like real life. It kept you a little bit lighter. When you're like completely in the dark and there's some head crabs or zombies. That's what I think.
Yeah, it definitely improved the tone, the overall tone. I think if there was no like banter or monologue from Alyx or Russell, like I probably would have been almost too scared to complete it, because I'm a little sissy baby when it comes to horror. So I'm glad that they added those little things.
Yeah, agreed.
Good point.
I can remember that is a good point. To expand on that a little bit, I think the moment you're talking about when you walk in and the head crabs are there and you have that little flashlight, I think Alyx says something to the effect of, "Please, Russell, talk about something, anything," and then and Russell, the comedy genius that he is, goes on to expand why she should be afraid, and the being afraid of the dark is very logical here, and that made me crack up while I was walking through. And to expand on that point a little bit, is that humor, that real life kind of driving off each other to try to get through the situation, I thought was appreciated.
I also thought that banter expanded the world pretty good to it. It did a little bit of world building. He was like, "Oh, back in my day, we had something called a BLT."
Oh yeah, I remember that moment. Yeah,
it's like bacon, lettuce, and tomato. And she's like, "Really?" That's just like, oh, this is what it's like to live in a Combine ruled world.
Agreed. Yeah. That was some good world building in there. That's a good point.
Indeed. So, end of chapter 1, you get on a train. Fun fact, just like the other two Half-Life games, they start with trains. But this one ends it with a train. Anyway, so the synopsis for the second chapter. So Alyx ventures into the city quarantine zone, and that's where you meet Gary, the Vortigaunt. He's making the foods with the head crabs. What a guy. He asks her to save his fellow Vortigaunts around the city that are captured, and he predicts that her father, Eli, will die. Alyx derails the train that's carrying her dad, and he's rescued by Gary. But while he was in custody, Eli learned they were storing a super weapon in a vault inside the quarantine zone. And then he tells Alyx that it'd probably change the course of the war if she could go to it and get what's inside. That synopsis covers chapters 2 through 6. So there's a lot to go over in that segment. The major things I remember from chapter 2, that's the first time you see a head crab in the quarantine zone. The first time I saw that, I was I shivered down my spine. I had the skin crawlies. I was afraid. And I wondered why I had purchased the scary game. Because I'm a wimpy man.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, they give you a little pistol, and I have no problem with survival horror games. Sometimes. It depends which ones. Anyway, but this one, the fact that you had to take a clip out of your backpack, cock the gun, aim it at their head, and if you didn't, you ran out of bullets, had to do that thing over again. And the zombies were coming right after you, and the head crabs were... Man, I've never felt just such fear.
Yeah.
And when you're low on it, there were times when you were low on ammo too.
Right? Oh my
That's
gosh.
when I was what am I doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I can't tell you how many times I would think I have it all together in my head, before a combat, and the gun will go out of ammo, and I'll be sitting there and my hands will be shaking. I'm like, why can't I get just a stupid headshot?
Or you're like, oh, he's 3 feet away from me. Let me get out my clip, and then it falls on the floor, and you're like, oh no.
I hate that. I hate that so much. You just drop the clip.
Yeah, the fact that this game is set in VR, I think, really lends itself to the atmosphere, The fact that you have to pull the clip out and drop the last clip, load it in, cock the chamber, do all that while this tension in the atmosphere is palpable, and when your head crab is coming at you, it is a pretty scary moment, actually. And I think the fact that it's in VR really, really helps this all along to sell the tension that's surrounding all of the gameplay.
Absolutely. And I think also the fidelity of the character models, the zombies especially, in chapter 1 when they first drop you off, they don't show you any zombies, right? They just show you the dead bodies that the head crabs left behind. And I remember going in that first chapter just up close to these bodies, looking at them with my eyes, and they're just complete grotesque beauty, their mouths stretched open, their eye sockets just I thought at any moment any of them could come to life and just kill me instantly in real life.
Oh yeah. No, that's one of those moments where you're like, okay, the horror is being telegraphed at me, and when's it gonna come?
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty sure I shot a couple of those dead zombies just in case, to make sure before I walked by them.
I have wasted a lot of ammo, especially later in the game when they actually do have the zombies just sleeping.
Yeah.
And they wake up and they're like, ooh, ooh. Ah! Yeah, I've wasted many shots at actually dead zombies.
What was your guys' first thoughts on the first Vortigaunt you see? What was his name?
Gary?
Gary, yes.
I'm glad they made him a little comedic. He's really scary to look at.
He's terrifying.
The more I looked at him, he's really terrifying. So I'm glad that he's kind of funny and he talks kind of funny.
Agreed.
Kind of justified. I almost it felt like he had his own little cooking show there when he was mixing together all those head crab parts, So I'm kind of glad they took that direction with him.
I thought that Half-Life 2 on the Source engine, Scene of Vortigaunt up close, was a quite a sight to behold, but no, that would be this game.
Yeah.
They're beautiful creatures.
Yeah.
My first thoughts were definitely like when he first pops his head. I was like, "Oh, shoot it, kill it."
Yeah.
Then he keeps talking and throws the head crab into the pot, and so he says something along the lines of like, "My brain hurts. I have brain damage," and I don't remember exactly how the joke goes, but I remember it being really funny and lowering down my guard a little bit because of that. It's the humor written into the characters. The humor that is there is solid. Really, quite funny stuff.
Yeah.
I also like how before you meet Gary, there's that whole like Vortigaunt graffiti going on, and there's like graffiti of the Freeman, Gordon Freeman.
The Freeman.
Yeah. The Eli van.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's how they speak.
I'm glad you brought us back to Gary. That was good.
We could not skate by Gary, okay? We just can't.
Yeah. Yep. Gary and his brain damage. He just like me for real.
Never related to a character more after that sentence.
Oh boy. But chapter 3, I want to get into chapter 3 because chapter 3 just about made me lose my mind. Because chapter 3 is where they have the flashlight at the end of that long spooky corridor. How did you guys fare with that? I practically died. I sweated real hard. Well, I guess I was fine, but I didn't want anything to come out of the darkness, and nothing gets you until you get the flashlight, and then it got very terrifying and scary.
Being a single player connoisseur here, I always know when there's a jump scare coming up, so I knew when I got that flashlight there'd be something behind me. I liked how, well, you know how like back in the day, you got a flashlight in a video game, you could still kind of see stuff around you. Well, the Source 2 engine in this one, just everything is completely black except for what you are.
Yeah.
But your flashlight is on, and what your flashlight is on is not where your pistol's pointing, and yeah, you just had to go off of the sound of head crabs and such in the darkness to know where to locate them and shoot them.
Yeah, for me, walking down, when you first open the, I believe it was a overhead garage door type thing where you lift it up and then you see that long dark tunnel then with a flashlight on at the end, and I remember seeing that and I was like, is there like the open world type thing where I can go around this? How do I avoid this section of the game? No, thank you. I'm all right.
I'm good.
And then, getting the flashlight and turning around and then seeing a bunch of head crabs walking towards you is like that. This tension, it was definitely palpable for me. It was
truly
not so bad that I had to put the headset away or anything like that, but bad enough that it was a trip. It was a trip.
Yeah, I really appreciated how they stuck the flashlight, at least from a horror perspective. I appreciated they put it on your offhand so that when you had to reload, it was like moments of absolute terror because, and especially when I'm fighting against the head crab zombies, when I could just hear them getting closer and the flashlight will like goes across their face and they're just getting ever so slightly closer in this stupid cramped corridor, and I'm like, just reload the stupid god. I thought that was just excellent game design.
Agreed. I actually didn't even think about how when you have to reload that you have to put the flashlight away for half a second. I definitely noticed it in the game, but I didn't think about that from a gameplay perspective. I think that's kind of insightful. That's a good way to put it, with the flashlight not being on them for a few seconds and just hearing them. That was definitely a tension builder too.
Scary stuff. In that same chapter, Eli, you finally meet up with him, and you have to like reach out with your hand to grab him, and he falls, and then Gary saves him. I kind of like that moment in VR. I feel like for a split second, I felt like I could save him, but he falls.
Yeah, no, I died at least twice trying to jump to him. How was I supposed to know that he'd get saved? I was
Yeah, agreed. The one thing I forgot to mention about chapter 2, Gary, he keeps alluding to this northern star. When I first played it, I was like, where's the star? I kept like looking outside. And then chapter 4, it's like, oh, it's a hotel.
Yeah, I thought he was just being stupid and like mystical and stuff. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. I think one of the lines in the game from Alyx is that when she's speaking to Russell about Gary, she says something like, oh, he's talking Vortigaunt nonsense. That's kind of what I chalked it up to, too. I was like, oh, I don't know. And then when you walk out and you see the Northern Star Hotel thing, it's like, oh, okay. Aha moment.
Valve did a great job in this game with misdirection, I guess.
Oh, totally.
Like little surprises like that and everywhere else.
I mean, you cannot anticipate, for the most part, the next thing. You never know what's going to break and what's going to stay the same and what you will have to end up doing or not.
Unpredictable. That's a good way to put it. Super good job. And in that chapter, in chapter 4, that's the first time that you see the vault.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a long time since I played, so I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, no, you save Eli and he's like, there's some kind of vault thing. It's in the middle of this one city and we don't know what it is. We think it's like a super weapon. Also, you combed over the fact that we also see Combine soldiers too.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is the first time we see the Combine soldiers. And seeing them for the first time, or fighting them for the first time in VR in the Source engine was something else.
I felt like it was a really, really good natural progression, you know? You're just fighting all these little zombies at first. And then you progress to the Combine, and it's like, okay, I've been shooting these slower targets. What's it like to have someone who's firing back at me? But also, like, you find out what you can do.
Point.
You can, like, hide behind cover, you know, literally with your body. And then stand up or just shoot around the corner, that kind of thing.
That is a good point, though, that I hadn't thought about. The progression is really intentional, I guess, because they do have you fight the slow zombies, like in the head crabs, and then they move you into the Combine.
That is a good point. You know, and to go back a little bit to the vault, for me, I jumped in and played through a couple chapters again not too long ago in preparation to talk about the game, and talking about spectacle moments from before with the Strider. I thought it was breathtaking yet again when you walk out and you look out the window and you can see the vault floating, being powered by these cables going to it, and see it floating above the city. Oh man, that was incredible. Sorry to interject there again, but it's all side tangent. But man, that was a sight to behold. For sure.
The set dressing is incredible in this game.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice that they allude to the goal of the game as well. Sometimes you just play games and you don't really know where things are going.
This game, they did pretty good at, you know, reminding you what you're doing, where you are.
And I do like that point about the natural progression of going from those kind of slower moving target zombies to the Combine soldiers. And then you kind of get moved into Combine and zombies around. And that's a little bit later on.
And even more.
Yeah. I didn't think about that while playing the game, but to that point that you mentioned, that is a really good direction to go with for enemies ramping up in danger.
I like the Combine design. I think that the Combine are super cool. You know, they got those funny voices or whatever. You know what I mean?
I mean, hey, it would make me, you know, want to comply, so.
And I love their death noise. It's just a flat line. There's something about that that's haunting to me. I don't know what it is. Like just hearing the echo across like the cityscape. It's cool.
I thought it was satisfying when you get them.
Yeah.
Like fall down and you're like, oh, you hear that. You're like, one down. Let's go.
You're dead. Let's go. Yeah.
Cranking 90 real quick through 360, you know.
I was really disappointed there was no Zombine in this game, you know. Zombie Combine.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I mean, it was in episode 1. I mean, it's a funny line. It's a Zombine. Anyway. No.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that actually while playing, that there was no combine zombies. I didn't even register that.
Yeah.
Maybe the Combine haven't been around long enough. I guess it is 5 years before all that, so maybe that's like an evolution thing. I don't even know.
I guess Geoff is kind of Combine-ish. He's got the hazmat suit on and everything.
Oh, true.
I don't know if he's Combine, but
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Yeah,
he's something.
Geoff really is something. That's true.
Yeah. So chapter 5, you got the spicy lightning dog boys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about them because they were probably my least favorite enemy. Like, yeah, you have these giant electricity dog things that go like into people. I mean, again, like there's that whole natural progression thing. First you fight the lightning dog, then you fight the lightning dog against inhabiting a person, and then you fight like a couple of them together at the same time, and like, oh man, they just had too much HP, and like you just had to adjust the way you fought them, or you were like, okay, I can only focus on one of them at a time, and a couple things like that.
We have been heaping praise on the game for sure, but this is one of the instances where I think it was a bit off, where I didn't really like this part of the game, particularly the lightning dog stuff, because they were just too tanky, and in all honesty, I thought they were not a very fun fight for the game. For one of their attacks, they smack the ground and this little lightning mark on the ground comes at you and explodes at the end of it where you were, and I thought that attack was so slow and so easy to dodge, and I never really took damage fighting them, and there was just these big bullet sponges for them. They took so much to put down, and I felt not really that much danger fighting them either, because they could never connect any attacks. So I have some small gripes about that.
Yeah, no, but I also thought, like, well, you know, I was playing it in continuous mode where you're moving with an analog stick instead of blinking. I was like, would this be a little bit more tense if I were playing with teleport with blink and like having to teleport around the bosses? That's what went through my mind, but
maybe, yeah. I also played in continuous when I played as well, and maybe that could be, but
I would agree, especially on that part where you have to drop down into that infested like pit in the hotel, and you have multiple of them. I found myself, I died a couple times, and I think it was mostly because like I would run out of ammo, and so all I was doing was scouring the area for ammo.
Oh yeah.
The other thing that's kind of weird about that design is they have crit spots that you have to hit in order to get the electric dog to get out of the body or whatever. And so I don't know why they don't ramp up the damage for those spots a little bit more so you don't run out of ammo so fast. Right? Like I almost feel like the bullet sponge should be for players that just want to shoot the crap out of the zombie instead of the crit spots. You know?
Yeah, that was my least favorite part of the game, and I really wish that they had like knives or something you could throw. I didn't like how you couldn't really use a lot of other objects as weapons. You mostly just had to lay off your gun and things like that. You know, it's kind of like Gravity Gun in Half-Life 2. You could slice off people's heads with the saw that you picked up, but you can't really do that in this game, which was a bummer.
That is a good point.
Yeah, agreed.
Once you ran out of ammo, it's like it's over for you.
Yeah, once you're out, there's nothing else to fight with. You just gotta look for more ammo, and that's about it.
Yeah, but there probably is an intentional design to no melee weapons and stuff because you don't want to hit stuff.
Right, that's exactly the point that I was gonna say. Was it's almost like a blessing and a curse that there's no like melee combat, because in one hand I do feel like it does make the game a little more immersive, that you can't just wiggle your wrist at stuff to kill them. But on the other hand, it does kind of suck that once you run out of ammo, like that's it. So maybe there's like a middle ground where there could be a weapon that has a recharge or something, you know? So you don't always feel like you'll be out of ammo. I don't know.
That's a good point.
But yeah, though I will say in Chapter 5, that's where you start seeing a lot of the Zen stuff, which is really cool.
Zen just threw me back to Half-Life 1 because, well, that was not my favorite part of the game, but I really liked seeing the other side, the other dimension. And there's this part of Half-Life 1 where you go into Zen, into this alternate dimension where the aliens are from. And it was just cool seeing it in high fidelity in Half-Life Alyx.
I really appreciated how a lot of the Zen stuff reacted to your hand movements and stuff. Like the plants would like shrink or like blink at you or have some kind of weird like tracking, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated all the tiny interactions. That reminded me, one of the little facts I learned from Final Hours was that there are 300 objects, I think plants specifically, 300 plants that react to your hand movements.
Wow. That's a high number.
That's a number.
And it's high.
Also, if I may talk about more first world problem type stuff.
Yes, you may.
I was a little bit bummed that there was no, like, I'm not sure if this really spoiling anything, but there's no part of the game where you go into like a Zen type world. Like, duh. I mean, that would probably be like twice as much work to create a place like Zen. Yeah, I mean, at least you got a little bit of it on Earth, but you know.
Yeah, to like go to another dimension entirely and have your world turned upside down by seeing all sorts of crazy alien stuff would be pretty cool.
It would.
Sequel material, maybe.
Exactly. It could be in Half-Life Alyx too.
And I guess to continue on that in the Northern Star area with the lightning dogs and everything, it's also where you get the I believe it's right before the 2 lightning dogs. I can't remember exactly where it lands, but the moment where you get the SMG or the combine weapon.
Oh.
The moment leading up to that, where you're walking through and there's all those head crabs crawling on the floor and everywhere, and you have to get in and close the door behind you. At least that's what I did. I got into a little area where they couldn't get into and closed the door real quick and walked in, and that's where you find the combine weapon. And I thought that section of the game, with when you first walk out with a new gun and there's all these head crabs to blast with it, that was a good time. Just to touch on that really quick.
Yeah, I like that gun a lot. That's a good one. Runs out of ammo super quick.
Yeah, it does.
But
easy to burn through it all.
Yes. One thing that I was hoping to see actually in Half-Life 2, you got it might be an auto rifle, but it's the same thing basically. And it has the alternate fire that shoots out a huge blast of energy that just vaporizes people. I was hoping to see that in VR because that huge energy blast like bounces around all the walls and like on all a bunch of different angles and stuff. I thought that would be cool.
I expected to see that too.
Yeah. Sequel material. Material.
No, there's a ton of stuff that in this game I'm bummed this isn't in here, but I'm really impressed that they also put this in here.
Yeah. Right?
But that would spoil some things. I mean, we've only talked about half of this game so far, you know.
Truly. Chapter 6. This is making our way to the distillery. We got first encounter with man hacks. We have to defuse that room full of trip mines. Man hacks, I think, are my least favorite enemy, probably even more so than the electric dogs, because they are so fast, and I am a bad shot, and I'm a bad gamer, and I should die.
Oh, okay, all right. Just calm down a little bit. Sheesh.
The man hacks are really fast. They would always get to me because I'm just a bad shot.
Are those the helicopter blade things that run at you? Okay, gotcha. I didn't know that.
Those are the boys.
Gotcha.
They're kind of annoying, but like they were fun if you could just kill them in one shot out of the sky with a shotgun.
Okay.
Firing from the hip. Yeah, that was the satisfying part.
Okay, yeah. I take it back. They're not my least favorite because it is extremely satisfying when you can land all your shots and kill one like instantly.
But yeah, they are like one of those annoying ones where you're like, okay, I'm shooting some guy behind cover and there's a man hack and he's like shredding up my shins while I'm trying to kill the combine.
Yeah.
We're like shin hack.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's where he was half the time was my shins, but
Yeah. How did y'all do with defusing the room full of trip mines? I'm pretty sure I died like 3 times because I'm very good.
I only died once. I mean, there was a room of other explosives that I died like 10 times before I was like, okay, I'm just gonna.
Oh, I know the one you mean near the end of the game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. That one is a little cheap.
Yeah, I remember that the first couple trip mines, I believe, it's the room full of trip mines and stuff. They hide a bit of resin, which is, upgrade material, or they put a bit of resin right underneath one of the trip mines. So for the first reaction is when you walk out and you flick one of those resins into your hand to put it in your backpack, it blows up the trip mine and kills you. I remember thinking, that's a bit sly. Come on, man. I walked out and immediately went for the upgrade thing. Like, oh, resin, grab it. Without thinking, and then boom.
They really did you bad, man.
Yeah.
I hated opening up a door and there's a trip mine right behind it and you die. And then, you do it again. You open up the door crack, you put your multi-tool in there. And then you accidentally nudge it away and it explodes again. And or just any other time your multi-tool accidentally got in front of the trip mine. You died.
Yep.
It was extremely annoying. But hey, it was fun.
I guess we can take a break from the story to get into the puzzles. What did y'all think about them? I think, because a lot of early reviewers, I feel like, talked about how they hated the puzzles, but I really didn't mind them. I actually kind of enjoyed some of them even, I would say. Especially, I thought the one where you access the upgrade terminal is pretty cool, where you have to organize the orbs to make sure all the lines hit the other orbs. I thought that was fun. The sphere one gave me the most trouble because I don't know. I feel like
it's like playing a game of Snake.
Yeah, I feel like you have to have really fine motor skills to get around some of those snakes. But even then, it wasn't that bad. What are your thoughts?
I thought that some of them, they required you almost to have too much dexterity. Kind of tough, but
yeah, I would agree a little bit, especially with the point of where you have to, drag that one of the unlock things and grab it to the other blue little unlock icon without touching any of the red ones. That puzzle specifically was a little bit, I do agree, it required a little bit too much dexterity in a couple of the puzzles like that. But to Brandon's point, the ones to unlock the combine upgraders, I thought that I thought that those were actually a pretty cool use of 3D space translating to the puzzle in VR.
Mm-hmm.
I did find that those puzzles pretty fun and pretty engaging and fun to work your way around and try to make those all fit. I thought that those puzzles were a good addition. And I also think the kind of slight puzzles where you had to follow wires through the walls and connect them on the ends sometimes were a bit frustrating, but overall, I also think that those puzzles were pretty fun too, having to navigate the map in 3D space in such a way for the wires to flick. That I thought that was a pretty good use of VR puzzles as well. So I have some gripes with the dexterity stuff about the puzzles, but overall, I actually did enjoy them.
I probably just really did not enjoy the ultra repetitive puzzles, like the blue to blue and yellow to yellow.
Yeah.
But I did like all the other puzzles that were either real objects in the game or that was like the rewiring thing. I probably enjoyed the rewiring thing the most.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it would force you to go all throughout the entire wall and do stuff.
Yeah, the wiring one also kind of lended itself to increasing tension in some areas. And I guess we get into that in the next chapter even more so, but all good points all around.
I will say I think the intention of some of those puzzles was to make you feel give you the sensation of interacting with a hologram in real life.
Yeah.
But it was way more obnoxious because it's not real. And I mean, your VR gloves, in my opinion, do have a limitation, and it doesn't totally feel as satisfying as if you have it in an orb and you gotta manipulate it in real life and all that stuff. But
agreed.
Yeah. Agreed. Here's a thought I just barely had. There's a couple defining things that make up Gordon Freeman as a Half-Life character, and he has his crowbar, and I would argue the gravity gun was another one. I wish that they almost there were more uses for the multi-tool to make that more of a defining thing. Like if it was a weapon, like you could stealth and use it as a stun weapon, or
You hacked some enemy. A man hack.
yeah. What if you could like hack man hacks, or even if you could actually that was a cut feature.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, it probably would not have been fun. I mean,
Yeah, and that is actually correct because it was supposed to be the sphere mini game. You would have been able to pick up a man hack it, and then you would do the sphere mini game to put it under your control to throw it back at the enemies. But
it would probably die in like 1 second.
yeah, pretty much.
True.
I mean, that was my guess. If you had to do this in every single thing, if you couldn't just like boop, knock it on the head and do it, it wouldn't be that satisfying.
You know what I mean, though? Like, I feel like if Alyx had used the multi-tool a little more, it would feel like that is like a super defining trait about her character and the game. But I feel like the game is more the fact that it's in VR is like its defining thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with this point. Having the multi-tool definitely did seem kind of like an add-on or an additional thing to the character, whereas it could have, if you could use it in more situations, it definitely would have become a little bit more of a staple. I do think that, I mean, I haven't played it outside of VR with this mod that someone brought up earlier, or however you go about doing that, but I do feel like the game would lose a decent amount of luster. I still feel like it'd be fun, but a lot of the awe factors would be lost on a 2D screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you'd be way less desperate. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you'd be floating around with the cursor, not with your own hands, but it would be, easier.
But actually, you know what I skipped over is the gravity gloves. That's probably the, like, gravity gloves and the multi-tool would be kind of Alyx's defining stuff.
For me, yeah, it's definitely the multi-tool is an add-on, like an extra little thing to use, and then the gravity gloves are definitely the defining feature of the game. That was so much fun.
Best telekinesis of any VR game, period.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have no reference, but did you play, like, the Star Wars game or something? Because I didn't, but maybe.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Star Wars games have some telekinesis. Boneworks has telekinesis. Blade and Sorcery has telekinesis. And I think what makes the telekinesis of the gravity gloves, the Russells, special is, well, there's the loop of having to catch the item. There's a lot of games in their telekinesis, you just pull the grips and the item just goes straight into your hand. There's no, I guess, feedback loop where it's satisfying to, like, grab stuff. Unless you're just talking from a purely fictional standpoint, like you can't do it in real life or whatever. But also, I think telekinesis in other games is, and this is super, like, detail specific, but other games, the telekinesis is very linear. Whereas I feel like with the gravity gloves, does follow that arc, and it's a little bit random. I found myself able to curve objects, like, around, like, I can't even explain it, but it never followed like a straight line to your hand, if that makes sense. But it somehow also did follow a straight line to your hand. It just kind of wiggled around. There's something magical about it, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. The arc that it kind of follows when it goes into your hand is definitely very satisfying. I don't know how to explain it perfectly either, but the loop of flicking it up and following that curve and having to catch it definitely sets it apart from the telekinesis in a game like Blade and Sorcery, where you just pick it up by looking at it and then it flies. You just hold the trigger and bam, it's in your hand. It's definitely sets it apart from that.
For sure. So guns, we got 3, and there's technically grenades. Do y'all have a favorite? I think if I had to choose a favorite, I mean, the pistol is pretty, like, it's cool. I think I use the pistol a lot because I just like how it felt to use. The other guns feel really good too, and the shotty's, like, really strong, and the Combine SMG is, like, power fantasy cool. But I found myself always using the pistol because I found it to be fun. I don't know. Maybe I don't have a favorite then. I don't know.
You know, I upgraded the pistol and the SMG completely. Didn't upgrade the shotgun at all, but I found that the pistol was really enjoyable once you got the 3-round bursts because it's exactly how much it takes to kill head crabs. And then also I really liked the bullet reservoir, how you load in your clip, it goes, does all 10, and then you can empty it out, put the other one in, so now you have 20. But I thought it was really unique how it wasn't just like a 20 whatever clip. It was like a, you load it twice. Like that was like, you wouldn't get that if you were playing a controller game, like mouse and keyboard controller game. It's only in VR they'd have a mechanic like this. For the most part.
That is true.
Yeah, I agree. That was really satisfying to load the reservoir.
SMG wise, I really liked putting the laser sights on these guns. That's what was probably best. Combine SMG, I think they make reloading it obnoxious. You're basically like, you have like, you're prodding in the ammo, to reload it. I don't know. You ran out of it way too fast, even though it had more stopping power than the pistol. You just ended up wasting a whole bunch of ammo on your enemies.
This is slightly interesting, actually, because my favorite one, personally, is the shotgun, probably. And it's interesting, neither of you mentioned that you didn't you upgrade the shotgun, or for me, the flick, when you had to reload it, and you're putting the shells in, then you flick it back up and it chambers again. That feedback loop of that was tasty. I liked that.
Like you feel like the Terminator.
Exactly. Yeah. I thought that was fun.
I did like the shotty. I used the shotty a lot for the grenade launcher add-on.
Yeah, grenade launcher add-on's fun.
Because I'm a terrible throw. I have a terrible arm for those grenades, so having the grenade launcher on the end of that was very nice. I didn't use it as much because I would not be very great at hitting all the shots, and I felt like I was always out of ammo.
Yeah, this game like left you dry on ammo. Like I was like, I can't imagine doing this on the shotgun because you would not have enough ammo. Like I don't know if it generates differently depending on how you play, if the game can infer that, but
yeah, no, I definitely feel that using the shotgun a lot. It's like it runs out pretty quick.
This game in general, like, doesn't matter if you're using the pistol or SMG, you will be out of all three sometimes. And I always kind of wonder, like, what would happen if you got stuck? I don't know.
I haven't thought about that, actually. If you wasted all your shots or missed too many and you just didn't have enough, how would you continue the game? I don't know.
Yeah, it's for that reason, the ammo economy. I didn't upgrade the shotty to have the double shot, firing the second shot right after the first shot. Because I was like, what if I kill a guy instantly? Then I will waste one shell.
I actually didn't get that upgrade for the exact same reason.
It's like, one shell is what I'm worrying about here. I feel like there's a balancing issue.
Yeah.
It was really nice though when I got jump scared, because then I just like panic switch to the shotgun and just blast all my shots out, and then auto reload and blast some more shots out. Good stuff.
Can we talk about swapping between the weapons for half a second? Because for me, the UI, how that works with, you push a button and then you hover over with your hand, over which weapon you would like to swap to. I thought that was genius for the VR experience. I loved that feeling of clicking that button and flicking up really fast to select the pistol, or jamming it back towards you to grab the SMG, or flinging it forward to grab the shotgun. I felt like the swapping between the weapons was very seamless and kind of fun, just swapping between the weapons themselves, just for how fast you could do it.
Yeah, I did appreciate that, which is interesting because I feel like in a lot of VR games, I prefer the immersive approach where there's a slot like on your body where you have to reach for the weapon to grab it. But I think I appreciated it like this in Half-Life because I appreciated the single-handedness of all the weapons and stuff. And also, like, when you run out of ammo, I appreciated that I could just, like, immediately have my next weapon, or, like, if I had to grab something out of one of my arm slots, it was just right there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a tangent, kind of, but it was kind of interesting to see him take that approach when a lot of the market has body slots.
Yeah, agreed. It was a different direction to take it in, and I for the game that Half-Life Alyx is, I appreciated it done that way. I thought it was a fun, seamless way to swap between, but I could definitely see preferring the body slots over that.
That was just one less thing to worry about when I was jump scared.
Yeah.
It's appreciable. What do you think, Dan? What are your thoughts on the weapon selection?
I mean, at first it was a little annoying because it'd be like, oh, I meant to do the multi-tool, not the pistol or something like that. But
yeah.
I don't know about a better way to do it, but it was all right.
Fair enough.
You know?
Yeah.
Serviceable. Grenades were fun. I used grenades the most when they were thrown at me, and then I would panic for a second, and then it was really fun to grab them with the gravity gloves and throw them right back at the combine. They gotta let them cook a little longer, man.
I thought this game was, even though it's VR and you'd think it would be a little bit more forgiving, it was not forgiving. Like, you would throw your grenades, and it turns out that, like, it didn't land close enough. Like,
Yeah.
how well can you really throw a grenade in VR? And also not send your, Oculus controller flying.
One thought I had from you saying that. VR lends to some really specific comedy that only can happen because you are the character. Like, I can't tell you how many times I would, like we mentioned earlier, dropping a mag like in the middle of a firefight. Like, that is just a really funny thing to me. Or like with grenades, if I toss a grenade wrong, it hits an object and immediately rolls right in front of me and I die. Like, that is so funny to me that I can die just because I suck or I had a bad throw. It's just over. Savior of humanity, no more.
This kind of doesn't have to do with grenades, but it did go through my thoughts, my head.
Okay.
Remember in Half-Life 2 how you had like that antlion, I don't know if it like pheromone grenade thing?
Oh, yeah.
I totally expected that to be in this game, and it's not in this game, but like, missed opportunity right there.
Yeah. They did have the Zen grenade, though.
Yeah, no, they did.
Which was
They
cool.
did.
Make sure I'm talking about the correct thing. That's the grenade that sits in the hand of those like plant-like things, and you grab it off of them, and then they generate another one, right? Yeah,
yeah, that's the ones.
Yeah, for me, I mentioned this to Brandon a little bit off the podcast, but earlier when we were talking about the game. But my whole first playthrough did not realize that those were grenades. I just saw them, I was like, oh, that's a cool plant, and I never used them one time throughout the whole game.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, I remember afterwards, having seen the game, was looking up some reviews and watching a little bit of gameplay, and someone grabbed one of those and used his grenade. I was very upset that I never used them.
Yeah, that's upsetting. I would usually just stand around and I would toss a ton of them. I would just spam them whenever I found them.
Yeah, my second playthrough, I definitely was doing that for a while.
Leaving those plants. I got two. I got one in each hand. I'm ready to go for the next combat. Did you guys? Here's a tangent. Did you guys ever get any boxes and carry stuff around with you? I did that a lot in my first playthrough, like the first couple levels.
You would just put like a grenade in a box or like 10 grenades and then just like
carry it around,
pick it out and
holy shit.
Yep.
I hadn't thought about that, but that's pretty genius.
Your brain is massive. How did I not think of this?
You guys didn't do that?
I didn't do that.
Oh, yeah. There was a point in the beginning where they were giving me so much crap, and I was like, well, okay. And I found a milk carton, one of those milk boxes, like soapbox things, and I would just start chucking stuff in there. The physics get really kind of weird when you pick up the box with a bunch of stuff in it, but you really can cart around everything with a little bit of finesse. I got sick of it after a while, but for a scavenging based game, that was what I wanted to do, so I did it.
Well, I mean, yeah, there were multiple times when you just had too much health, too many grenades.
Yeah.
You were like, I don't know what to do with it,
I figured I'd use it eventually.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Yeah. I think it especially helped. There was one part where you're in the rafters above like 6 zombies.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got all my grenades. I'm just going to put them in this box and I'm going to just carpet bomb these people down there. And that is what I did. It was fun. It's cool that they have practically all the objects in this game are interactable. Like, I feel like you just don't see that level of detail in a lot of games.
Oh, yeah. No, you'd be surprised at like what you can squeeze, and like you can look inside a water bottle or something and it looks different. And
oh my gosh. Yeah, the graphics.
graphics. But also like, I'm not really sure what was the focus. Some things did look a little bit blurry for me, but yeah, you could pick up a candy bar and you could read what was on the candy bar or on the book.
Yeah.
Cover, that kind of thing.
That is insane to me.
Yeah.
And like the newspapers, like you pick it up and it's like, I am reading this newspaper. Or even if you like put your gravity gloves up to you, you can read what's on the microchips. What?
Yeah, the level in detail
True.
is incredible. For sure.
And Dan, like the bottle shaders? What wizard? What wizard invented this?
Man, and the liquid engine fluid rendering, something like that.
Like, what?
Tasty.
It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Even on the lowest settings, like which is what I ran most of the time, these graphics are better than any game I've played in VR ever. On the lowest settings.
Is it too personal of a question to ask what you're running on?
No,
I mean, I could run on my 2080 Ti on high just fine, but
my rig, the first time I played through this game, I had a 1660 Ti, and I've since gotten a 3070. I think my settings are wonky because I still have to put it on low with my 3070 when I was playing through today. It's kind of weird. Just to get 90 hertz. I have a bottleneck somewhere, and I need to figure it out.
I mean, there were times when obviously it'd get a little wonky and stuff. That was mostly when it was loading and stuff like that,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was playing it on a 2070 Super, and it worked. It works pretty good for on that. I don't remember what graphical settings I have set. I think it was medium. If there is, I don't remember if is there a low and high option. There's a medium as well, right?
Yeah, there's a medium.
Yeah. And I think that's probably what I was playing on, and it seemed for me to run just fine. I didn't find any issues.
Mm-hmm. They did such a good job optimizing this game, making it look super good. Here's a fun fact from Final Hours. There are over 50 different hand positions for Alyx's hands, specifically regarding like grabbing objects and putting your hand like around objects like doors and cabinets and stuff that are all specifically coded. So like when you pick up a fork, right, they had to scan they had to model the hands to pick up the fork with those fingers or whatever. Or like if you grab a bottle in a specific place.
Wow.
I don't know. Just more details. The attention to detail is crazy.
Yeah.
I think we've mentioned it like a couple times. It's just nutty to me, all the stuff they've done.
Yeah, no, I thought about that like while I was playing this. I was like, this is amazing that they put up to this level of detail, but there is also always like a limit to the engine, and you could find it, just like this thing's not accounted for, and this thing happens there, and things still phase through that, and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, they've tied up everything, but there are limitations. There are parts where it's not lifelike, and don't really know how to explain it.
No. I think I follow. I think too that it was almost terrifying, that yellow screen when you put your head outside of the boundaries of the game and like all the sound goes quiet and it's just yellow. I hated that. Like, you guys know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I understand why it's there, but it's like borderline terrifying when it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, but also, you know, just things like, well, actually, okay, almost nothing phased except for yourself through like a wall or. But there were also times where things would, you know, clip on other things and stuff like that. But you can't really replicate that until you enter the Matrix, I think. But, you know.
Truly.
Yeah.
There are times when I was like, this is a video game, because I would, you know, I would put the headset on, and it would feel like, you know, real life, like another world. And then after 30 minutes, I'd be like, I'm playing a video game. Even though it's very impressive.
Yeah.
I see.
Well, you watch like the trailers for this game, and where people are putting their hands and the way they're interacting, it looks like very cinematic, very like something you would do in real life. But like, truth be told, you were just doing the lowest common denominator for doing what you had to do. You were just gravity gloving most things and doing the cheapest way to get cover and to not die, and you know.
Yeah.
It's had its limit. My 2 cents.
Thank you for your 2 cents.
Yeah, no, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. There are definitely some limitations to that. There were a couple moments where, you know, you break a cardboard box or something like that, and their pieces fall on the ground, and some of them clip into each other. I had that happen a bunch of times, and it's not perfect, but I do think that it did a really good job with what it had, for sure.
It's more impressive than any other VR game or any other engine out there at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But there definitely are limitations in certain areas, of course.
Indeed. It is immersion breaking, but VR is crazy to me because if I don't set like a timer to escape VR, I could probably just stay there forever.
Your time perception goes somewhere else when you're playing VR. I'm telling you.
So true. Like, I'd be like, oh, it's been 4 hours? I thought it had been an hour.
Yeah.
That's true. It's true.
I remember one moment with Half-Life Alyx in particular where I put the headset on and it was daytime, or it was kind of near dusk. It was getting a little bit later, and it was on a weekend. And I put the headset on, and I'm enjoying myself. I'm like, oh man, now I should probably be getting off. You know, go think about going to bed. And I take the headset off, and it's pitch black outside. And I'm, wait, what? Where did the time go? You know, the time perception really does, when you can't see any other light around besides what's coming through the headset. It really can. You can lose track of time fast, for sure.
Yep. Yeah, I remember doing a similar thing. It's like, my eyes are tired, and it was like 1 a.m. And I'm like, what the heck? This is insane. But anyway, I think that's we can get back into the story, kind of finish it up.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Sounds good. Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Yeah.
So here's my milquetoast summary from Wikipedia again. So getting back to the story, here's the next quarter of the game, or segment. So Alyx fights past Combine forces and shuts down the power station that's keeping the vault afloat. And then she discovers that each station is powered by an enslaved Vortigaunt, the ones that Gary told you to save earlier. She rescues the Vortigaunt, who promises that his fellow Vortigaunts will take down the remaining power stations. Eli contacts Alyx, warns her that the vault is not a super weapon, but instead a prison built to contain something discovered by the Combine. And they all reason that the prison holds Gordon Freeman because of a conversation they overhear, that it's a person who survived Black Mesa. Alyx crashes the vault to the ground after turning off the backup power, and however, instead of finding Freeman inside, she releases the G-Man. And we'll get to that. But we have to talk about Geoff in Chapter 7.
The meat and potatoes.
Yeah, you meet Larry, and he's like, there's this blind zombie named Geoff. Don't worry about it.
Can't see, but he has excellent hearing.
Yeah.
Man, this section of the game was a whole, Quiet Place on Max in real life, and that section of the game was probably for me the most fun, but also the scariest.
Yeah.
This is like one of those moments where, well, obviously you'd have to like play through more of the game to really like get all the mechanics down, because you should have them down by now. But no, this is just one of those places where I wish I could just put this on my friends or my siblings and just be like, have at it, you know, just have them run off with it, because
Agreed, yeah.
like this would be the showcase part. I'd be like, come on, you know. Then I'd probably be crying to be like, I can't do it.
Yeah, for me, after having played it, thinking back on the game for after quite some time has passed, you know, trying to remember what happened in it, one of the first things I always think of is Geoff.
Yep.
This section of the game definitely was a staple part of the experience throughout the game. Truly an experience to be had. It was so much fun playing through this section of the game.
Yeah. As scary and terrifying as it was equally fun.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Going through. This part of the game was in development for the entirety of the project's lifespan at Valve, and it definitely shows.
Yeah.
And originally, you were actually supposed to fight Combine and like other zombies and stuff, and so you would have a firefight, and then Geoff would come and like fight you, but they removed that because it would have been too tense. There's a little trivia for you. But going back to Geoff, he was so terrifying.
I probably would have had a heart attack if that was stayed in the game. Fighting the Combine and Geoff runs in. Oh my gosh, I would shit my pants right then and there.
A little too much.
I mean, I will say that this part of the game, you know, it's all about stealth, or at least being stealthy with your sounds and such. But you know, to this day, I really could not tell you if I really enjoy stealth games all that much, because sometimes they are scary. It's like, if I don't hide behind here, I'm gonna get caught. Is it safe to go out yet? You know, that kind of thing. This part has like that same tension the entire time, and you just do your best to cover up your tracks. I mean, you're in a distillery, and like there's a bunch of bottles everywhere, so you're just always throwing one in the corner so Geoff will go after it while you're trying to do your little puzzle. You're trying to keep things from rolling off and catching them, and you also throw a bottle back in the corner again because he might come back. It was scary.
Those small, like, little gotcha moments with when you first, like, open a drawer or something, and then this bottle that was on top of it that you couldn't see is now cinematically rolling towards the end of the table. Catch it before it lands. Geoff's coming, look out.
And they put the resin, you know, like on like in one of the cargo boxes, whatever.
Yeah.
You're trying to not have that thing come out because you want the resin to upgrade your gun, you know.
Yep.
Ugh.
That was so funny how they just would place all those items behind bottles and bottles. There was so many instances where they have the bottles just crash and break. Like that freaking head crab that walks across that little strut. Idiot.
Knocks over a bottle and you're like, oh man, fuck this guy.
This guy.
There's also what part is it? Just when you're in the elevator.
Oh my god.
Like, I like how they put you close up to him. There's literally no other option. You are right next to him, and he can't see you. You just have to make sure you're not coughing. And I know. I also like how he just, you know, has this insane strength, kind of like The Quiet Place, that movie. How like these things will rip through whatever, and like that's what he can do.
Yeah, that was my thought. Was the thing that made that elevator ride extremely spooky was the head crab that goes in the elevator with you, and he picks it up and just starts slamming it against the wall. Kill it, right?
And he dissolves it, and you're like, "What if that was me?"
Yeah, and he's just like, "It's gone." And I was just like, "You're just
in
in your little corner, like, please, please, no more." I don't want to play this game anymore.
Mom, come pick me up.
Mom,
I just want to let you know I did that whole section in one day. Okay. Did not take me multiple days to get through it.
Very nice, very nice.
Very nice.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, I imagine that that's the kind of horror that you're like, okay, I can only take so much of that.
Yeah, I can play this for one instance only.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are games I haven't beaten, like Alien Isolation, because I'm like, this is scary.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It's almost hard to like take the headset off in certain sections where like there'll be certain parts with Geoff and I'm like, man, I need to take a break, man. My heart is pounding. I need a moment. But then you just can't take the headset off because Geoff's still around the corner. The tension is kind of hard to interrupt almost and take and quit the game, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
imagine if they made this game like Dark Souls and when you paused it and actually paused.
Oh God, no. Please.
I'm okay. Okay. It is super satisfying once you've, well, they do the fake out, right? They do another misdirection because it's like you put Geoff behind the sealed door and it's like, cool. And then they have you take out your multi-tool and you're following the wires around. And wouldn't you know it, the wire goes right in the place that you trapped Geoff.
Just to let him out again. I hated that. I mean, but I was like, I knew it would go here. I knew that's where this would lead to.
So good.
Yeah, that moment of when you whip out the multi-tool and you're like, all right, let's get this elevator going and let's get the hell out of here. You see that wire start to go back and you're like, no, nope. Not like this. It can't be. Is it going to the place where Geoff is? No, surely not.
Please, no. Yeah. Oh, man. It is so satisfying once you finally get Geoff in that, trash compactor or whatever, though.
Okay, did you have to kill him, though? Could you leave him alive? That's what I wondered. They should have given you an achievement or something if you kept him alive.
I mean, Geoff's just
because he was
here,
your friend. At the end of the day, he was your friend.
I mean, maybe for some.
He kills head crabs for you. What if he was your little pet? You know, he had a little leash that he couldn't dissolve.
Take Geoff for a walk.
Exactly.
Geoff's just out there living his life, man, until you come along and shove him in a trash compactor. Man, how could you do him like that?
Maybe they'll make like an alternate Half-Life 2 ending and it's like you unleash Geoff. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the combined super weapon that they put in the vault.
Geoff.
Yeah. Tell me I'm wrong.
G-Man gives you Geoff. You can save the one you love, and it's Geoff.
It's like I can turn back time. He can teleport out the trash compactor.
There we go. Oh boy. I know we got to talk about the antlions.
Oh man, I love this part, dude. It was genius. I loved that it was in a zoo. Like
the zoo was so cool,
man. And I love how you can wear certain things in the game. You know, you can wear like hats. I mean, really only one kind of hat, one kind of mask. But then you can wear the little like tiger mask in this level.
Oh yeah.
And it like actually impaired your vision, so you didn't wear it. Unless you did, then applaud you on that. But you know,
the zoo was actually a last-minute ad. It was supposed to be in a sewer originally.
There's too many enclosed spaces already, like in Half-Life, in general. That, like, yeah. I also like that it's like evening. It's dusk, and like you can see the vault lit up in the sky, and it's like one of the prettier parts of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, the Geoff part was also in like that was at dusk. Anywho, it was genius. Just having antlions in a zoo.
Indeed. They were pretty fun to fight. I would find myself being equally discombobulated, but I'm glad that you could shoot off the limbs, to make them slow.
Mm-hmm.
So that I had some semblance of thought and time to reload and go for the crit.
Yeah, I didn't think they were fast-moving enemies compared to all other enemies. The zombies and the combine. And yeah, I was very satisfied and surprised when it shot off their limbs and only had to like shoot them by these ways to kill them.
Yeah, the antlions were a pretty fun enemy to fight for sure. It was enjoyable.
And also just like little things like there was like a tarantula glass thing and there's a head crab in it in the tarantula exhibit. And it's kind of funny.
I can't believe I forgot about this, but winding back time a while, there's a section where you come across a head crab sitting on a mannequin, acting like it's trying to control the mannequin.
Yeah, that is funny.
I found that that was a pleasant, ironic moment in the middle of all this absolute horror.
Indeed. Good stuff. Let's see. You end chapter 8 and you learn the vault is a prison. And you suspect it's Gordon free. Chapter 9. So in this one, Vortigaunts destroy the last power station, keeping the vault afloat. But it is kept floating by a backup generator. And that's where the characters theorize the vault is Gordon Freeman. And I played through chapter 8, 9, and 10 today. So this is mostly what's on my mind. At least in regards to how recent I've played it anyway. But I don't remember anything super specific from these sections to talk about.
Yeah, from those sections, for me, when I was replaying it, I replayed all the way up through Geoff, and that's where I had to take a break and then stop and now join the podcast. So trying to think back to when I first played the game way back when, nothing super stands out from apart from, the zoo and the antlions and all that stuff and the dusk. I do remember thinking that was a very beautiful section of the game, and then we have here these last few chapters. I don't super remember anything specific from those either.
Yeah, 8 and 9 are pretty, but it's almost a test of everything they've taught you so far, because they mix in the antlions, and then 9 is kind of, you got zombies, combine, antlions, head crabs. So you're kind of using everything you got to stay alive.
I do remember finding like that a big ammo cache coming up to this section and being like, oh, what's about to go down?
A big empty space with a lot of places to hide as cover. I wonder what will happen.
Yeah. I do remember mostly what I think about from that section is the onslaught of combat that happens. Really, that section I found, thinking back anyway, just remembering, was just a lot of combat, which was fun. It was a fun kind of section of the game to just let loose all the upgrades you've got, expend all the ammo it just gave you, and really just enjoy the combat part.
Yeah, that is a good point. Because a lot of the game prior has been a slow burn. Small corridors, enclosed spaces, and then they let you loose outside. 10 different antlions, a bunch of combine.
If I may say in general, I think feels like the chapters 1 through 6 basically, they feel like they're forever. They feel like they maybe take up 3/4 of the game and then you just speed through the end. From the zoo, chapter 9, chapter 10, chapter 11, Yeah. Basically past Geoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think in the beginning, at least for me, I feel like in my first playthrough, I spent a lot of time in the beginning chapters because I wanted to scavenge and because everything's interactable, I'm like looking through all of the filing cabinets, even though there's nothing in that. Like all the, I'm looking under the sink for whatever, extra resin, because I'm like, I gotta upgrade these guns, man.
Mm-hmm.
And the ammo economy is pooey. So, but by the end, you've built up a little cache of ammo, and I think even like subconsciously at the end, I kind of realized that the game would magically make sure I always had at least some ammo to deal with enemies, so I didn't worry too much about looking extra hard. But that's just what I think.
After Geoff comes out and you've done that section of the game, it really does seem to pick up here with a little bit less slow burn and a lot more carnage, which, it doesn't really stand out super. It doesn't stick out in my head for that section of the game, any particular moment, but I just remember blast and stuff and having a good time. That was a fun section of the game. There's no specific details to think and recall back to, but that it was a fun section of the game for sure. Still, at least in for my thoughts.
Yeah. Nah, agreeable. Let's see. So chapter 10 rolls around. We got Alyx shutting down that tractor beam right in the vault, crashes to Earth, and that same chapter, you're fighting through a bunch of Combine in the parking garage. You find that Strider, and you got Russell. He's like, "Oh man, good thing that thing's been deactivated. Imagine if you had to fight one of those for real." And then Alyx is like, "Don't jinx me like that." And then sure enough, it wakes up. "Alyx, you jinxed me, Russell." "Ah, jeez, I'm sorry." That was a fun section.
Yeah, seeing the Striders throughout any part of the game that they appeared, I thought was a really cool spectacle moment. Always, whenever those did anything, really, the graphics of just and the scale of them, man, they're just awesome to look at. And then having to fight one was definitely that was a cool moment. It was a cool moment for sure.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way you're gonna fight that thing. But that is quite menacing. Glad to see it here, and then
Yeah.
And then it proceeds to chase you around that whole parking garage. And even you'd run away from it in the beginning and you get into what you think is a safe area, and then it almost jump scares you because it starts busting down the wall so that it can shoot you. Like you're just some little mouse running around. Super fun. And then the ending is really fun with the that turret. Just a little one-time thing for you to use that turret and kill the Strider. Do you guys remember dying to that? Because I died to that a lot today, because you have to be super intentional with the reloads on the turret.
I never died doing that thing, but I did think it was pretty hard, getting it right where you wanted it to go. I really died more to it just shooting through the walls because it had that destructibility mechanic.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, I don't remember that section super well. It's been too long since I had played that specific part.
No worries. Just a small tidbit. But yeah, after you get that Strider, then you float up into the vault, and then it's like, we can't, communication's going out. And you're like, okay, I guess I'll talk to you guys later. And then your weapons like float out of you, and it's like, oh.
I was like, I know exactly where this is going. Because I had played Half-Life 2,
Yeah, it is a very similar ending.
Yeah.
Kinda.
But
yeah.
actually, like, this one's less of a cakewalk, and let's just say the Russells, the gravity gloves, are no gravity gun, like I said. They're not quite the same omnipotent.
This leads us into my favorite section of the entire game. VR is just an interesting medium where there's things that can happen that you can experience in VR that can only happen in VR. And it's this section in particular where you're going around and like the gravity's weird. You're going through the apartments and like you break down a door and it like falls because gravity is shifted in that room to where you're like on the ceiling or you're on the side of it. And in particular, the part that gets me is the silverware and how they're all interactable. Like the first time I went through, I just used one finger to like twist a fork in the air around. It just blew my mind.
I was kind of like, why is this section in the game? I mean, like, why did they make the surreal moment part of the... I don't know. It's not that it was like, that's surreal or not that surreal. It was just like, why did they put this in? I don't know.
It is kind of weird because when you get like tractor beamed up into the vault or whatever, it seems like you should be in the vault, but you actually like end up in that apartment complex next to the vault.
Yeah, I still didn't really understand it, you know.
Kind of weird. But I definitely appreciated the otherworldly nature of it all. It was like a museum of oddities.
Mm-hmm. And like the most platforming that game can be at that point, maybe, arguably.
Yeah. Yeah. Having to traverse across the side of furniture and up and around doors that are on the weird angles and stuff. Really cool.
Yeah, having said earlier that I don't really remember the last couple chapters super vividly like I do the rest of like with Geoff and that kind of stuff. But those last couple chapters, yeah. But this chapter here, this last little bit, I do still remember pretty vividly. I do get the point of why is this really here, but the spectacle of it all, of like you said, the floating silverware and all the gravity shifts and stuff in the VR, I still found extraordinarily fun and just amazing just to look at and be in that environment was very cool.
It's one of those things, especially in VR. Like if I had experienced that on like a flat screen, mouse and keyboard, or even like from the confines of my couch, like it would have been cool. But it was the fact that I could interact with that stuff with hands, and that I was seeing it with the majority of my vision, that really like amped it up.
Yeah, agreed.
With the visual fidelity as well, because like if it was in a different art style, I think even, but everything came together for those moments to really hit home right before they give you the green balls of de-existence.
Yeah, that whole section was very cool, I thought.
And then they cap it off with a really cool combat situation. At least I thought it was really cool. The Vortigaunt energies.
Oh yeah.
Which I guess is the official lore is the gravity gloves are powered by a Zen crystal, and the Combine were using Vortigaunt energy, which is the green stuff, and that's why the gravity gloves were able to grab the Vortigaunt energy out of the Combine machines as a weapon. That's how that worked in the lore. Super fun. This is Force lightning, basically.
Yeah, I had a blast. Blasting Combines. I'm sorry for that one.
Wow.
My bad.
That's a good one.
But for honestly, that section of grabbing those green balls of de-existence, as you called them, grabbing those and chucking them at Combine, that was just good fun. It was just, oh man, throwing that at someone and watching them just like phase out of existence in that little green dust. Oh, something primal in my brain probably changed that day. It was just, this is like Doom in 3D. This is amazing.
Especially after the Combine had given you such a hard time, and it'd take like a whole clip to down one of those stupid shield wielding dudes, and you just like insta kill him. That's good power scaling right there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Made me feel good. What do you think, Dan? What do you think of
it? Was good power scaling. It's a little bit inferior to the gravity gun part, but it's like same feeling. It was actually just pretty hard though, and I actually using your gravity Russell then zappy powers was harder because it also had limited ammo, if you will. There's only so much Vortigaunt energy you could take from the walls if you missed. Yeah,
I whiffed. I definitely had my fair share of whiffs. That's
yeah,
for sure.
Same here, of course.
I mean, in Half-Life 2, where you can just turn Combine soldiers into ragdolls with your gravity gun. That's perfect. But this one was comparable to, but inferior to the gravity gun.
It's a fair take. It's a fair take.
But no, I mean, anyone would have fun playing this section, though.
Indeed.
Yeah, agreed.
I have several friends where I keep telling them, like, come over to my house. All right, just come over to my house. Cut out like an hour of your day. I'll put you in the last chapter of the game, and you can see why this is like one of the best VR games of all time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you won't have to do any of the shooting. Just experience the weird gravity stuff and vaporizing dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh boy, good stuff. And then the twist. The prison does not have Gordon Freeman, but G-Man.
G-Man himself.
G-Man himself.
You
In
know,
the flesh.
this part just left smiles on my face. It's one of those.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
one of those.
Yeah.
You know, Thor seen Hulk moments. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like that was me. That was me. Just like I loved that it was him. I mean, even when they mentioned Gordon before and all that, like, I had some smiles, but when it was the G-Man, you know, smiles were abounding
Absolutely.
for at least a couple hours after that.
Yeah, I had no idea. I guess, Jackson, since you are out of the loop on the other Half-Life games, this would have different implications for you.
Yeah, so from my experience, because I had looked up so much about the lore before going in so that I could try to get a lot about experience out, I did know who G-Man was prior. I almost kind of wish I didn't because, well, no, that's not true. I would have been very confused at the ending, but it was still, not having played the games probably made the reveal a little bit not as amazing, but still having seen so much of the lore, and you know, I've seen G-Man around just having been on the internet before, it was still a cool moment, a really cool twist and reveal, even having not played the prior games. So I still thought it was probably a similar experience to what you guys had, maybe a little less hard-hitting because of that, but still, it was. I'll never forget the creepy, awesome way that when G-Man's talking to you, his like phasing in and out and being behind you and talking
Mr.
and hearing the
Freeman?
surround sound.
I love that so much.
Oh, it's
Like,
so cool.
Well, what was with the ghost? What was with the ghost images before you actually met him?
I don't know. All I know is it was really rad.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm not the guy to go to ask about the different lores and stuff, but I just know that it was awesome. So
No, but I just love that it's the Combine's greatest threat somehow. But by the end of this game, that just doesn't make any sense.
Oh, because he offers Alyx the wish or whatever, and she's like, how about no more Earth invasion? And he's like, my other employers would not like that. How about this? And then he teleports you to the end of Half-Life 2, and you use the gravity gloves to kill the creature that would have killed Eli in Half-Life 2 at the very end. And then G-Man is like, very nice. And then he takes Alyx away. And so then your perspective shifts into Gordon's head, and Eli offers Gordon a crowbar, and then you in VR pick it up, and then it rolls the credits.
But man, I don't know. It ruins the whole continuity of Half-Life 2 and Half-Life Episode 2 because it's 5 years before it and it blah, blah, blah. Oh.
Yeah, and there's a lot about this particular part in the final hours. So they actually weren't originally going to do this. Remember how earlier I had said they had an entirely different story? There was supposed to be like a main villain and all sorts of like other narrative beats and whatever. This portion in particular was not planned until 6 months before the game released. And to top of that off, the G-Man portion of retconning the original Half-Life 2 ending came from an elevator conversation with someone that I don't even think they worked at Valve. They just worked at a different building or floor on the building.
Huh.
They suggested it. But the original ending to Half-Life 2 was actually enforced by Gabe Newell, the CEO. He wanted the stakes for the ending of Half-Life 2 to include the death of a major character. And so that's why Eli died at the end of Half-Life 2, more or less. And so for them to include a retcon of that, they actually went to Gabe Newell again to be like, what if we retconned this? And he's like, okay. And the other thing they had to do is because the writers for this game were not veterans of the original Half-Life games, and so they pitched it to a room full of like over 50 people where they were like, we're going to undo the ending that you guys did, if that's cool. And they said it was super nerve-wracking, but everyone actually really loved the idea, which is why they ended up running with it. That's a long-winded trivia for you.
I mean, obviously, the whole Half-Life Alyx thing opens on a very open note, but I don't know, are things ever going to revert the way they are? And like, what will Alyx have known by the time Half-Life 2 happens? I don't know.
I think it definitely, I think I like it. I think I like it because it's almost, in a way that there's the prequel problem, which is we know where all these characters are going to be at the end of this. So like while playing the game, it was still like a thought in the back of my head, like there's no way Alyx will die, right? There's no way that we will influence an event that will dramatically change how the world will be before Half-Life 2, you know what I mean? So by them retconning that death and by taking Alyx and diverting the timelines, I feel like they not only gave relevance to the missing existence of Half-Life 3, but they resolved the prequel issue by making an ending that was actually pretty satisfying.
You know what they should have done? I mean, if I could retcon this ending.
Okay.
I mean, so you're 19, like in Half-Life Alyx. You see Eli die as a 19-year-old, and you reverse it and stuff. It should have just been like, oh, you'll find out in the future in 5 years what will happen, and then it's like a flash forward, and then like this moment in Half-Life 2, it stops, and then you make this decision, and then you get hired. It might have just been smoother than like a total diverging timeline, because like did Half-Life 2 happen, Anyway.
Yeah.
Again, so many questions. When does the Half-Life Alyx thing diverge? Like, did Half-Life Alyx even happen before Half-Life 2? Or is that just a time split itself? I don't know.
Indeed. It makes us ask these interesting questions.
Yes. Too big for my brain.
Yeah, that take totally makes sense. I can see that. From my point of view, not having played the games prior, it's hard to super comment on whether or not I love or hate it because I don't know some of the context leading up to the end of Half-Life 2, of course. But from my point of view, I enjoyed it. I liked the ending quite a lot. But like I said, not knowing the context, haven't played Half-Life 2, so I'm not sure if my feelings will be the same after having played Half-Life 2. But for me, I quite enjoyed that little because, like I said, I had seen some videos, so I knew that Eli Vance in the future was supposed to die, right?
Right.
So having that, I do gotta agree with Brandon's point there a little bit with adding relevance to it, where it's now you're changing this big ending part of this whole IP that everyone knows who has played the IP, that you're changing the outcome of all of this. It really adds some impact to Half-Life Alyx, and I quite enjoyed the twist there at the end, personally.
Yeah. It certainly left my mouth agape.
Yeah.
I mean,
You'll have to let me know what you think after you play Half-Life 2 if your opinion changes.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
See what you think.
I mean, still the end of this game brings us at least 2 disappointments. Still nothing is ever explained in Half-Life, like the franchise. And then for 2, when's Half-Life 3 coming out?
Yeah.
Yep, we're back at square one.
When's it coming out? It has to come out now.
Yeah.
I think the only way Half-Life 3 can happen is the plot has to be given from heaven, you know?
pretty much. Gabe Newell has to descend upon us.
Exactly. I believe it.
From his big pile of money. Yeah. The one thing I will say about the next game is I wonder if they'll be able to get it right. Because I think a large portion of Half-Life Alyx's success in how it feels the same as the other games is the fact that it is a bunch of old blood, you know? That is just, they've been at Valve for a long time. They've all worked together. But they can't just keep these people going forever, you know? So, like, if Half-Life 3 is going to happen, if it doesn't happen soon, we'll probably have new people working on it, and then would it feel like a Half-Life game, or, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are the implications of changing out the same team that's done the same game for 20 years? It is Valve, though. They have infinite money, so there's no way that they couldn't at least try to make it feel the same and whatever, but it's a thing to think about.
But also, I hope they don't have to wait until the holodeck to make it, you know?
Yeah.
Because they obviously had to wait until a new platform like VR came so they could make Half-Life Alyx. So yeah, what's Half-Life? How are you going to play Half-Life 3? Is it going to be played on the Matrix? I don't know.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, in Elon Musk's neural links.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it going to be like, are they going to make like another spin-off of VR, this game? So yeah, no, they make Half-Life Alyx go directly into Half-Life 3. And then in the meantime, they just make like Half-Life Head Crab or something. And you do like VR head crabbing or something. I don't know.
Hey, I'd buy that game. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, our Combine Office Worker on the Steam Deck. On the Steam Deck too.
I am curious if because one of the things Valve has said is they love on how Nintendo pairs games with hardware. So far as we've seen the Steam Deck, they haven't really paired it with any killer software that really takes advantage of it, besides all but 30 minutes of existing in the Portal universe. It makes me curious if they're working on something for Steam Deck that's a proprietary experience, because they like how Nintendo does that. They've expressed that they want to be like a PC version of Nintendo with hardware and software. Be interesting to see. I definitely don't think Half-Life 3 will be a Steam Deck exclusive, though. If that's
no,
anything.
I'd be disappointed.
It would be funny, but I own a Steam Deck, so I would buy it.
Oh, look at you.
Okay.
All right. Can I rent it from you at some point if Half-Life 3 comes out on it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. All right.
You better be bringing that thing to work, all right, if Half-Life 3 comes out.
I'll be doing AutoCAD on my Steam Deck. No one will even know.
Like, hey, Jackson, you want to take a bathroom break? Wink, wink. My Steam Deck.
There's some interesting implications to our other coworkers.
Yeah. Hey, you want to come to the bathroom with me? There's only a urinal and a toilet in the bathrooms at work, with no separations.
What if he's also, playing in there and it's just like he causes the hardware to get super hot, just like super hot in the bathroom.
It's hotboxing.
Yeah, hotboxing with Steam Deck.
Half-Life 3 hotbox in the bathroom. Let's go. Woo!
Turn up.
That would be good. Oh boy. All the funny aside, what are y'all's final thoughts? Is there anything that we haven't talked about you want to bring up?
yeah, not Half-Life, but Portal-wise. Do you think there'll ever be a VR version Portal 3, something like that?
No. And I say that immediately because it was actually a project at Valve for a while. They wanted to do Portal 3 in VR, or a version of it called Borealis. It was in development for like 3 or 4 months, and then they decided it was too disorienting, so they scrapped the whole project.
That's too bad.
Okay, and then here's B.
Okay,
real quick.
B.
Like, I believe that Portal and Half-Life take place in the same universe, Black Mesa and Aperture Science.
Indeed.
Is there ever going to be a tie-in that way? More of a tie-in somehow? Because
Dude.
Portal's too funny and Half-Life's too serious.
Dude, that is like my fever dream, honestly. Like, especially when I played through the Orange Box and like Portal 2 and Half-Life and stuff. And hearing especially about Mark Laidlaw, back when he left Valve, he wrote a blog post that had his complete thoughts on what Half-Life 3's story should be. He was the original writer for Half-Life 2. But he talked about how Gordon would go to Aperture, like a satellite branch of Aperture, and there would be a ton of interplay between the two like companies and technologies and stuff. Man, that would be so cool. That would be so cool.
Sick. Yeah.
Can you imagine like gravity guns and portals?
Oh, yeah. I love Portal. That's one of my top favorite games, probably. That would be amazing to see a crossover for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But also, as a little blurb for me, I'm pretty sure at the end of Portal 2, like, you don't know how much time has passed that she's been in hyperstasis, Shell, the main character.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably after the Combine invasion, because you go out onto the surface and it looks pretty peaceful. That little grassy field. I mean, that's all I have to say. I don't know.
Yeah.
All there is to say.
What about you, Jackson?
Final thoughts?
Anything we missed that you want to bring up?
Not really. I think we covered most of the game pretty thoroughly. We didn't. We brought up for half a second the very ending with G-Man. I would like to touch on that a little bit more with just how awesome that ending part was with just technologically and experientially, if that's a word. Like the experience is very cool of G-Man, like the surround sound in the headphones when he's walking around and the green eyes that he has, and if you that experience was the only thing that I did not bring up. I think that I thought was another kind of spectacle moment of just pure awesomeness and hardware and software ingenious in that section where I found myself when he phases out in front of you and kind of phases in behind you and says something and kind of close to your ear, and I jumped physically in my headset like, oh, it's behind me. I loved that moment so much, and I just wanted to say that.
And there's something that really, I think what really amplified that for me is like this whole game, you're in these cramped areas, you're constantly experiencing the atmosphere of the theming of some place that you are physically or digitally in. And then when that G-Man portion happens, they strip all of that away for nothing but blank space and the G-Man. Just an unknowable god figure, And that's that's all it is. So your complete attention is on this crazy man. Which, a fun fact that actually does remind me, the voice actor for the G-Man is the same one from Half-Life 2. And when they contacted him, they're like, do you remember voicing the G-Man? Would you like to do it again? And he said, I've never stopped thinking about the G-Man. He's like, I practice the voice even still. And he even told Geoff, he just told him a bunch of backstory that he straight up invented for the G-Man that may or may not even be canon. That's how much he enjoys the character. And so when he got his lines, they said that he completed them in 20 minutes in a single take.
Dude, that's based.
Baller. Totally
That's
incredible.
awesome.
Super cool guy. He is the real G-Man, apparently.
Can't wait for him to be in the live adaptation version.
Yeah, for real.
Dude, hell yeah.
Let's not even talk about live action, okay? It's another podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, basically that was my final thought of that last little thing I wanted to touch on that we hadn't yet.
Yeah, that is very cool.
I know it's hard to rate games like on a number scale, but what would you guys, I'm just curious to hear, where would you put Half-Life Alyx on a scale of 1 to 10? Points included, 9 point whatever, or 8 point.
9.9.
9.9.
9.95.
9.5. Wow.
9.7.
That's a high rating.
9.7.
Just because. I don't know, dude.
It's hard to contextualize everything. Yeah. I was just curious on what your thoughts would be for that.
Let's see. If I had to give it a number rating, I think I would put it up. I think it definitely deserves to be up in the 9s. As far as what point I would put it in, I'm also not. I'm still not really sure. It would probably be somewhere around like 9.5, I think, if I had to. Because I just think every detail of Alyx is just beautifully, like, handcrafted, perfectly thought through, with very little exceptions. And I think just the thought that they put into every corner of the game, from the sound design to the gameplay, the loop, the gravity gloves, the narrative, even the length of it, just like the 15 hours feels perfect. There's very little complaints I have for it. So that's where I would put it. But,
yeah,
and why?
I would agree with that sentiment.
I'm actually going to take it back. 9.65. The only thing is technology. Up until they invent like real VR gloves and stuff, then it will have the perfect 10. You know, like ones where you can feel it and stuff.
Yeah. Like Ready Player One style.
Yeah, well, that's exactly, yeah.
Smell-o-vision. Where is smell-o-vision?
I don't know.
Man, I don't know if I want to smell those head crabs. I'm all right without that.
One jumps on your face and you smell rotting flesh and iron. Oh boy! But now, what would you say, Jackson?
Right. Yeah. So for me, the game is so good. I love it. So there are a couple small gripes that we've kind of aired as we've gone through. Like, for example, the lightning dog section, where it just, I want to give the game a perfect 10 because I love it so much. But the small little drawbacks, I would probably put it 9.6 or somewhere around there, 9.5, 9.7, somewhere in those kind of close to a perfect 10 masterpiece, but not quite a perfect 10. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find something that would be a perfect 10.
Yeah.
But so this is really like a high rating that I can give it will be in somewhere in that vein of 9.5 to 9.7 probably.
Yeah. I think it's undeniably a masterpiece, honestly. Like, you cannot oversee that, in the very least.
Yeah, agreed. I would definitely rank it within other masterpieces. It definitely deserves the masterpiece title in my eyes, for sure.
Indeed.
Yeah. Although, like, if I'm being honest, though, if I had to kind of like go and play a Half-Life game over again, it's probably not this one, just because I find the other plots more compelling. At least like Half-Life 2 is more compelling.
That's fair.
Yeah. I think the 2D Half-Life games will be easier for me to revisit, in the very least, just because VR is one of them things. It feels a lot more difficult to commit to a 15-hour VR game as opposed to even like a 20-hour flat screen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It does feel more committal to boot up the VR and start playing that. It's another layer of stuff that I kind of have to set up for, and definitely does feel more committal for sure. So I totally get that.
So I have a couple of conclusive. Well, should we mention mods? None of us played any mods, but they're there.
No.
So I guess we don't really have much to say about that. I know they are massive in scale, though. Like gargantuan.
I haven't really looked into any of the mods at all for this game. Maybe I should give that a shot.
Yeah, from what I understand, you just Steam Workshop them in. You just go on Steam Workshop, click a few buttons, it downloads a buttload of stuff, and you're good to go, just right from the get-go.
Drop it in the file. Yeah.
So, could be worth exploring. Anyway. So, conclusion. We're in the final moments here. Overall recommendations, I think we kind of covered with our number ratings. I think we would all, and we covered in the beginning, we pretty much wholeheartedly would recommend this to people. Any people.
Absolutely, yeah.
Except those without 2 arms.
True. I think the one question that would be more compelling to ask instead of recommendation or not is when Valve set out to make this, the original team started with 4 different employees at Valve. And eventually their philosophy for it was they wanted it to be VR's killer app. They wanted it to be the reason that a large player base goes out and buys an Index or a Vive or whatever just to get into VR and play the game. Is this VR's killer app? Should this be the reason that someone buys a headset?
At the moment, yes, because, I don't know, kind of like 3D TV and a whole bunch of other things rely off gimmicks. This game's not a gimmick. It's not just like, oh, it is to see what VR can do. You know, it's to push the boundary.
I like that.
Yeah. It's hard to say if it's worth going out and buying a headset just to play this game. There's definitely, it's a hard question for sure. I would say it's definitely the best VR experience of all the VR games that I've played. I do love VR games, and it's definitely the best one out there for VR. If you have the expendable cash to be able to buy a headset, I almost would say it's worth it just to buy the headset just to play this game. So I would say they accomplish that goal for sure. It's a must play if you have the money. I wouldn't say, try to break the bank and save up super hard for it, but it's definitely one of my favorite games of all time. Probably top 10 in there somewhere around there, top 15 for me personally. I do love the game. So I would say they did accomplish it, but it's hard to say if it's for everybody,
Yeah.
For me personally, they accomplished it. But I don't know if I would say they have accomplished that for a massive audience or not. It's hard to say.
Yeah. I'm somewhere definitely in the mix. I think when I look at like VR, I almost see it as like it's definitely a console. Like, because there's just games that are only for VR. And so I'm trying to think back to when I bought my Switch. The killer app for the Switch for me was when they released Smash Brothers Ultimate. And I just knew I had to buy a Switch so that I could play the new Smash Brothers that had every character in all of existence. It was like a no-brainer. It was going to happen. I was going to buy the Switch just for Smash Brothers. So, and, Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild and all that was kind of like bonuses. And I feel like for Half-Life Alyx, I guess I kind of told you guys at the beginning, I had that weird dream where I had dreams that I was playing this game. So in a way, I definitely think that it became the killer app that it needed to be. But at the same time, I still think like this is one game in a sea of VR games. And I hope that VR can add like a couple more games that have this polish and fidelity so that it can be that Smash Brothers, but also can live alongside like a Mario Odyssey and a Breath of the Wild. You know what I mean? Like, we need more 9.6s and 7s in VR for people to really get on board because of that super good back catalog of stuff to do.
That's a very good point.
So I think it's a killer app. I think it definitely opened up a lot of people to the prospect of VR games being cool and worth their time. So that's a long way to say, yeah. That's what I said. That's how I said it. Anyway.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, any last thoughts?
It is good talking to you, Jackson and Brandon.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Dan and Jackson. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, likewise. It was fun talking about a game I love. It was a good time talking to y'all for sure.
Yeah,
I will have to tell my employers about this podcast.
As will
Anywho.
I. Yes. I don't know if you guys, if you want, you could play your socials or stuff if you are creators or just want internet clout. I have 8 listeners in the very least. Tell them where they can find you if you desire it.
Look for me on LinkedIn, Daniel Butters. I got myself in glasses. I mean, I don't know if you find me. I'd like to do some more creative stuff. So if any of y'all got any ins to video game writing, film writing, something like that, I've worked on a little TV show by myself, and I'd love to collaborate on anything with you.
Very nice. Jackson?
Yeah, it's J-Man Jackson on Twitch. Haven't streamed in like 2 years, but that's really the only thing I got to plug. So
Plug it. There you go.
But yeah, J-Man Jackson on Twitch, and if you want to come hang out, and I'm happy to be live for the first time in forever, then please do so.
Excellent.
Be a good time.
Excellent. As for me, you can find my stuff on my website. It's thenamebrand.com. I do game articles. I have all my socials linked there. I haven't posted anywhere in a long time, but I have written a lot of articles. And I do a decent amount of podcasts where if you're just interested in the podcast, you can find it on twitter.com or anywhere that you listen to podcasts under Void Arcade. That will do it for this episode. And I guess we will just play ourselves out here. Next time we'll wear head crabs and see what happens.